Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Ishavasya Upanishad. In the 16th slok, we found it to be a very delicate request to the reality or Isha to gather the brilliance so that we can understand. And the Rishi is mentioning, so that I could see your true form, whereby I come to know that Soham Asmi. I and you are not different. This was the 16th slok. Now let's see what 17th and 18th talk about.
Vayuranilam amrutam athedam bhasmantam shariram Om Kratosmara Krutam Smara Kratosmara Krutam Smara.
Vayuhu anilam amrutam atha idam bhasmam antah sariram. Om Kratosmara Krutasmara Kratosmara. What does it say? Let's understand the meaning. Let my pran to universal pran, let my body to ashes. Om, O universal Atma, O universal pran, O Isha, remember, do thou remember actions. O universal soul, remember the action. This, let my pran to universal pran. What does that mean so far as prana is an agency of manifestation, is an energy. Intelligence and energy, those the initial point we talked about so far as Isha is concerned. So the duality remains, meaning I and the universe. When I and universe remain, we will not come ever to know who we are. So far as the individual identity remains, our dualship comes into picture. So in this slok, the aspirant sadhaka is requesting that, oh divine pran, let my pran merge with you. Now, pran is also not separate. And once the prana is not separate, the activities is not separate. The cosmic dance goes on, and we happen to be a part of that grand dance. So here in this slok is requesting that may my prana merge with the universal prana. And then second, I won't say condition, but the situation that it explains, may my body turn to ashes. May my body turn to ashes, meaning body is the only limiting demarcation. Previous example when we had learned that if you take a plastic cup and we know that there is air in the cup, but as soon as the cup is crushed, that means body is turned to ashes. Is there limitation? Is there demarcation? Can you say that the air inside and air outside the cup? This simple example, but it's so powerful. So here, when it says sariram bhasmam, so when the body turns to ashes, doesn't mean you have to set yourself on fire. But when you start seeing the limitlessness, and we are in so profound depth of appreciation of the universe, its intelligence and its energy, so much so that the object of meditation, which is your body, that dissolves, and what you see is nothing but the universe. Prana merges to universal prana, and sariram to bhasmam, bhasma ashes. So when is this possible? What do you really mean by the demarcation? What do you mean by the cup? What do you mean by the boundary? What do you mean by the form? Boundary, form, the limit of the size of the cup. Then we can say it is in the cup, out the cup, and inside air merges with the outside. There is nothing like inside and outside. But who decides inside cup and outside the cup? Who decides body and the ashes? Mind. So far as there is mind, there is demarcation, there is limitations, there is boundary. And as soon as the boundary gets annihilated, annihilation is little too strong of a word, but dissolve, let's put it this way. And as I mentioned earlier, the body is not to be put on fire, but you dissolve the boundary, you crush the plastic cup so that there is no inside and there is no outside. And that also we had studied a couple months ago. And that was bund mile so pani mein, ye sab jane koi, sagar mile bund mein, jane so virla hoye. Meaning, when we are crushing that and we say that the air inside merge with the air outside, or the energy in and out, but the inseparability comes to be known when there's no inside and outside. There's only one, and that is prana, universal prana, or universal intelligence, and that is Isha. So that's what this sloka is talking about, that, O divine, let me remember the action. Now here, action, we can take it two ways, action from the universe or action from the sadhaka. Action from the sadhaka, remembering, we cannot live without action. But every time when you do the action, you realize that it is the grand spirit, it is the grand universe, it is the grand universal intelligence, and it is the grand universal prana that does the job. As soon as you come to know the Krito Smara, Smara means to remember. Whatever you do, you thou remember. And the similar is also the prayer to the Supreme, that keep me with you. Meaning, do not let me go away from you. What does it mean? A child may wants to go away and run away, wants to play in the game of playing. Child may go here and there, but father goes and grabs his hands and takes care of him. Same way, if you understand that universal prana does not leave you alone, universal essence does not leave you alone. Ashes is nothing but a transformed form, or the transformed universal form of the individual form. So far as you do not realize that you are you and he is he, then there is no he and there is no you. So what does that mean? That means smara, word kuto smara, kutam smara. And that's why this word comes 3 times. Thou shalt remember. Now thou, it could be you, and in term it's requesting Father. I just took the example of father, but there is no father, no mother. It's just the universal mother. So this is how slowly the prayer is being developed. and previously knowing all about the characteristic qualities of Isha, then comes the prayer. First appreciation, then the character, um, and then comes the prayer. So the prayer is also such that you gather your rays, so I could see your digestible form, because a child is child doesn't know. His body, his eyes are not yet capable. So Father takes care of him. Krutosmara, Krutosmara. What a beautiful ending prayer. And still the prayer continues into the next sloka. And let me take you to the last sloka. This is a word by word translation. But anyhow, let me read it to you. Vayu, wind, anilam, water, amrutam, immortal. Mruta means death, and amruta means eternity or the immortal. Atha, now, idam, this, Vasma, ashes, antam, Vasmantam, Vasma anta, the end of the body that turned to ashes, Shariram, body, Om, divine being, divinity. Krato, do, smara, remember. And so Krutam smara, Krato smara, Krutam smara. 3 times it's a reminding to oneself as well as to the Supreme Reality. Let us hear just once more.
वायुरनीलम् अमृतम् अथेदम् भस्मान्तं शरीरम् ॐ क्रतो स्मर कृतं स्मर क्रतो स्मर कृतं स्मर.
In the previous slok also, when certain thing is reminded, we often say, I will never, never do this, or remember ever, ever. Do you understand? Remember. So when certain things need to be put pressure, it is repeated twice or sometimes 3 times. Now going to the last loop.
अग्नेनय सुपथाराये अस्मान् विश्वानि देववयुनानि विद्वान् युयोध्यस्मज्जुहुराणमेनो भूयिष्ठां ते नम उक्तिं विधेम.
By the way, just as a side note, this sloka of Ishavasya has taken place in Arya Samaj Yagna ceremony. So anybody whosoever does yagya or the fire ceremony, they make sure they chant this sloka. So Agnenaya Supataraye Asman Viswani Deva Vayunani Vidwan Yuyodyasmajjuno meno mumistha te nama ukti videma. Let's understand what does that mean. O Agni, lead us on to prosperity, supata, to a supata, pata means road, avenue, uh, a good path, prosperity, raya, asman, ours. So let's read it. O Agni, lead us onto the prosperity through a good path. O God, thou, the knower of many ways, remove from us complicated scenes. We offer thee our best salutation. So now we'll understand word by word. Agni, lustrous like fire, or fire. Agni, O Agni. And we have previously also noted that Agni to be the transforming energy. And once having offered so many fire ceremonies or performing fire ceremony, I personally remember that my spiritual mother, when we were doing yajnas or the fire ceremony together, we did it a couple times. And after New Jersey, when I came to Irvine, also we did 2-3 times. And thereafter, once when I wanted to do and I requested the so-called indirect presence of my spiritual mother, at that time she said, these are her words. He says, Swamiji, we did so many times. Now ignite the fire within. Understand her word. He says, the so-called karmic, meaning action-wise, literally igniting the fire outside we have done. But now, sweetheart, my son, ignite the fire within. So, and transforming energy we had studied some time back. And we have been given a couple of examples as to how certain things we eat and they get transformed into different ingredient and very broadly categorizing like protein and carbohydrate, some minerals. So all those transformations, they get extracted and then supplied to the need of the body, whatever it needs. So they're transforming. And the same way, when we breathe in, what really happens is only certain part of the energy get absorbed and the blood gets oxygenated. A different compound is formed. So this is the Agni. And this is Agni still at the physical level. But then what is the sheer transformation that is taking place? And that is, previously I am the doer, later on it is being done. So even in this transformation, in this translation of this one, this loka, it also says, they never say, no guru, no rishi will say, I am telling you this. It has been said. I have heard. And they will never say, I do it. So to say, what is the doing agency? Who is the doer? And that doer is the fire, is the lustrous, luster. Why lustrous? Because which fire can be more lustrous than removal of the ignorance from within and becoming one with the universal intelligence. So, Soham Asmi, the 16th sloka. So let's understand the word Agni, Naya, water, Supata, along easier path. Su, better, easier, straighter, whichever way. Pata, avenue, road. Rai, towards bliss, the one that leads us to bliss. Bliss, Ananda. And remember, Ananda is not happiness. Ananda doesn't depend upon anything. And that is what you are. Soham Asmi. Asman to us, Viswani, in the universe. Deva, O divine. Vayunani, interwoven, intermix. Vidwan, one who knows. Now remember the word. One who knows it, and no performer, no seer, no meditator will ever say, I do this. Yuyodi, annihilate, vanquish, asmat from us, what to vanquish, what to dissolve from us, asmat from us, juhuranam, one on wrong path. So the one who is on the wrong path, that intelligence, that wrong intelligence be burnt, be annihilated, vanquished. Let's use the milder one, dissolve. Okay, in scenes. Now here, scene, do not take it in a very common sense. What could be the biggest scene ever that one does not know who one is? Bhumista, repeatedly, often number of times, is reminded, and the fire is brought in, ignited the fire within, and initial and the surrounding boundary identity is dissolved, and one is requesting, Krutosmara, O universal fire, remove those scenes, remove that ignorance repeatedly, because we have so many karmas, and those karmas has bounded us. And as a result, sometimes we do not see, most of the time I would say, we do not see our own future, our own path, so that in this sloka, Shir is requesting repeatedly and says, guide me on an easier path. Supata. Why easier? Because we are like a child. We have handled children, and when we handle the children, children don't know, but we think we know. But if the child does not let the father hold the hand, and if a child has some teeth and bites the father's hand, what do you think father's hand will do? Father's hand will feel the pain, and even for a moment will let go the child. So what really happens is divinity, divine, Viswani, Deva, is so dear to us, is so much holding our hands to lead us to the lustrous path, lead us to an easier path for Raya, a road that is Shreya to us. Repeatedly, Bhumishta, Te, Do, Namaha, uh, Namaha, polite surrendering, bowing down. And here, bowing down is not just physically bending down, but bending down meaning your erected identity. And I'm using the word erected identity. Erected means what? You know, you stand so stiff, so tight, retaining your identity and not thinking that you are not the doer. Ukti, statement, vidhema, requesting with different activities, different so let's once again now try to read, O Agni, lead us on the path to prosperity. Now we know prosperity, the biggest prosperity one can have is to not look for any more prosperity, whereby when you merge with the universe, when individual prana merges with the universal prana, at that time, your identity doesn't remain, and your true form of ananda bliss gets revealed to you so that there is no more you, and at that time, there is nothing needed. It's a total surrender, and that is where the inside ignition of the fire, Agni, true Agni, take place. So from karmic fire to abstract fire, and that is the true fire in which you burn. And once you burn, you no more think of yourself as the body. Your individual prana does not think that there are five pranas working within, five pranas working everywhere in the entire universe. So that is when an aspirant come to know, Soham Asmi, I am that. So dear friends, this is where we feel extremely privileged so that we could study what that Ishavasya Upanishad says. We just got introduced contemplate on it over and over, those four words, Ishavasya idam sarvam. And then, if you do get chance, all this sloka are available, entire Upanishad is available in various forms over internet. Google can help you. Surrender, request the Supreme, and proceed. The path of sadhana, dear friend, is also not that simple. It requires tremendous commitment, tremendous dedication, and stronger one-pointed intention that either this or nothing. And talking about Agni, it reminds me of my Gurudev, Swami Satyananda Saraswati. He did 14 years of sadhana, 14 years, mind you, rain or shine, which is called Panchagni sadhana. Panchagni stands for Pancha Agni. Panch means five. So he will have 4 fires, Agni, burning within 2 or 3 feet around him. This 4 fire, and the 5th fire he will ignite within with the help of some higher advanced level of pranayama. And he'll be sitting from sunrise to sunset, rain or shine, 7 days a week, 365 days a year for 14 years. So you and I, we think that we do Havan Agni on certain special day, that when my father dies, I do Havan. When my son gets married, I do Havan. These are the celebration. And I'm not saying don't do it, but sadhana, the dedicated effort, is never ending. The path, Supata, Raye, those understand how powerful are those words. What is Supata? One has to decide. The universe is ready to help us. A spark of fire is ready to remove the darkness, the ignorance, the identity. All is needed is just a strong desire that may my boundary of ego, I-ness and my-ness dissolve, and I see no boundary, limitlessness. And we have studied the word Akash, limitlessness. And that itself is bliss, Ananda. That itself is the truth. We mentally have created phony identity that is asat. And then in this sat, in this jagat, things are moving and it has its own pattern. Nothing can change, and that is chitta. And bliss, the Ananda itself, is joy. You do not have to make yourself happy. So is Sat Chit Ananda. And that reality is designated by the letter Om, the fundamental frequency or the fundamental vibration. And on that basis, after 2 weeks or so, in the first week of February, we'll attempt to study Om with the help of Mandukya Upanishad. Kindly join me in the Shanti part. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat.